What's up, boys and girls? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing okay. Apologies for the lack of uploads lately. I went on holiday as I needed a break and been working on what to start off next. But in this video, we're going to be looking at an area that I'm going to be looking into going down with Ark. I've been playing unofficial servers. Used to play official servers quite a long time ago. And it feels like the game has sort of gone down the direction of it's no longer really a survival game. It's something else incomplete. It's no longer survive from getting jumped on and eaten by dinosaurs all the time, because it still happens. But now it's a case of unofficial and unofficial servers and clusters. It's a case of, right, spawn in, do a note run, do boss fights the first 3 days, 5 days, and then you build a base, get turrets, and that's it, pretty much. So we're going to be looking at this, which has also just been announced as a sponsored mod, which is really, really impressive. Now, this is called the Hunted, as you can see on the screen. This takes a whole new turn on what Ark is, and I believe what Ark should have been, or should have stayed as. If anyone remembers when Ark was in early access, this game was, when you spawned, you constantly getting eaten by dinos. They were all extremely powerful, and your character there was none of this ridiculous 1,000 Jura flak or 350, 400 damage shotguns and fabricated sniper rifles. So dinos didn't really pose that much of, well, a threat at all, especially when Tech Tier came along and it was like, right, okay, yeah, that's fine. Dinosaurs are now irrelevant, they're just there to tame, that's it. So this is going back, taking many steps back. This game is it's a total conversion mod, and as you can see, he's getting snuck up on a raptor there. So we're going to be looking into some detail, this mod. There's a lot of detail on here, but if you do want to see some more of this, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button for me, as I'll be doing a full series playthrough of this. This mod also is not finished yet. It is not finished. So we're going to be playing it up to the point of where we can't go any further until we get a few more updates on the mod. But it looks like it's got a lot of promise with this. So we'll have a look at some of these pictures now. So one thing you'll see straight away is creatures have nests, and they have baby dinos following them around. So as you can see, some of these raptor nests. The only way, baby rexes. The only way to actually get creatures on here, because the adults are not tameable. The only way to get creatures is either stealing from a nest or sort of tempting a baby, a curious baby it's called, away from the nest to have a look. So it does work on Crystal Isles as well, this mod, as you can see there. It does work on Crystal Isles. And so you've got all these little nests and whatnot. And all the creatures have an upgraded AI. They've had the AI tweaked. They behave differently than they do on vanilla. So as you can see here, we'll just look over some of the basics. So herbivores, if you get too close and they're big herbivores, they'll be aggressive towards you. They'll be very territorial. Same with carnivores, they're very territorial. So with herbivores, while fleeing at the sight of a massive hulking Allosaurus, many herbivores now travel in tightly knit packs, because obviously they found like safeties in numbers. So no longer easy targets. You won't randomly see a trike wandering around the jungles on its own. Stealing eggs and killing them for meat and so on is going to be a bit more of a harder task. It's basically going back to hardcore survival. And carnivores as well, they have a much higher aggro range. They can sniff out a carcass from a lot further away, and they will, if you kill something, you have a certain amount. Obviously it doesn't say you've got time before this arrives, but there's only going to be a matter of time before a carnivore sniffs it out and comes and finds that that carcass, so you need to get what you need and go. So all creatures, when you tame them or hatch them, they start at level 1. Doesn't sound much, but all this can be disabled and changed in the settings, which we're going to be going over in a minute. Now this, with this as well, there is 150 levels you can add in. And that's also as well as mutations and stuff like that. So breeding them is going to be very, very important on this to making them even better. So it is gritty survivalism. So you got a 60-second timer when you start from when you're immune to everything around you, so creatures and whatnot. If you interact with the dinosaur and steal an egg or anything like that, that 60-second timer goes, and then you're all going to get chased. But as I said, we'll be looking into these in a minute. Saddle construction, so it's not just a case of crafting saddles as you would. You need to get certain saddle crafting kits. There's 6 tiers of base saddles. You don't need the individual engrams for them. There's an implant on its own, which you can find. It's like the one on your wrist. So not only the implant will allow you to synchronize your nervous system with your mount, but will give you near total control of the behavior and actions. But finding these implants requires searching the Ark for fallen survivors less fortunate than yourself, and you've basically got to steal the implants out their arm and repurpose them. So there's 100 dinos have been remapped. Significant changes in harvesting components. However, they still have the same base combat stats as they do on vanilla. So if you are running a server with and you're putting this on, you have to do a full dino wipe when you to get the new dinos behavior in. So I'm going to be looking over this a little bit more. So the first one here is just the discussions. So breakdown of current mod features. Reactive all dinosaurs, non-fantasy or mythical, have been remapped with increased targeting range at the most basic level. Dinos now react to everything, including one another and you. Herbivores team up and may run long before you reach them, while carnivores will sniff you out from much further away. Territorial animals will challenge you, including aggressive herbivores like trikes and stegos. Carnivores also target one another, fighting each other for hunting ground rights, so don't get caught in the middle. Corpses are now highly valued resource, not only for yourself but for competing carnivores, etc. They'll sniff you out from quite a long way. So you now harvest more realistic amounts of meat and hide from animals as they increase in size. So compared to a Modillo to a Bronto, you're going to get a ridiculous amount more, but the meat does weigh a lot more on this. So carcasses are a very valuable resource as long as you can preserve the meat and so on and so forth. Character updates. Your rate of healing is dramatically slowed. No more Wolverine survivors with insta healing powers, so that's slowed down a lot. The only one, all starting stats have been cut in half except for speed, which is good because you're going to need to run away. Stamina doesn't regen when dehydrated or starving. You don't really die as quick from dehydration and food and starvation as quickly, but again, it is still a real threat. So that was what that 60-second buff I was on about at the start. So they've also redone the male survivor, so his face no longer looks like Shrek's armpit. Facial texture maps have been smoothed out to help distinguish them from Yetis. I mean, there's still no Prince Charming, but again, they're better looking than Shrek's armpit. Tamed Dinos, so you can't, as it says here, you cannot tame adult creatures. You have to steal an egg, or by luring a curious baby away and gaining its trust by feeding it kibble or so on and so forth. So it'll start at level 1, although they can be adjusted via server configuration options, which we'll look at in a second. You'll need to start from the beginning with them. Unfortunately, your dino can currently receive up to 150 additional levels from experience. Imprinting and mutations are incredibly valuable now, which is really good. So this is all about saddle construction. Currently, I think these are not in the game yet because they haven't got creatures that high up yet. As I said, it is still in development, but these ones are pretty much, I think it's up to tier 4 actually, I believe. Tier 4 saddles. So through the playthrough, we'll have a look at those and see what's what. Fertilized eggs. In order to work in natural nest spawning system, fertilized eggs had to change just slightly. Most fertilizers now incubate between the same temperature ranges based on real egg-laying animals today. The bird-like, so it gives you all the temperatures there, which is handy. Some food items have been changed in order to make the choice between eating one thing over another more meaningful. Berries now provide different benefits. Okay, that's pretty cool. The yellow berries provide some food, 0.2. Wow. Okay, so azul berries, the blue ones, give you a bit more hydration. That's good. But more interestingly, infuse your bloodstream with greater capacity for carrying oxygen. However, ingesting too many too quickly can lead to a loss of consciousness. Okay, so if you want to go underwater, have some azul berries. Major berries are both juicy and nutritious, providing equal parts food and water. 1. Narco berries provide some food, but are primarily known for their narcotic effects capable of inducing a coma-like sleep. Healing properties, so you can still heal off them and you can still get a bit of food, so if you're in your house then you could probably use them. But so again, tinta berries provide significant nutrition and some hydration. So they've done it's good that they've gone into that much detail to change the standard berries around as well, which is great. Meat has been reworked somewhat, now drop £1 increments, which is 10 times high. Yeah, so the weight of meat is 10 times what it was on vanilla. So where you used to be able to carry a few hundred, you could probably only carry, depending on what your character weight is, but it's going to be one pound for one piece of meat. Cooked meat states hunger twice as much. New food resource also added. Salmon roe. There is 50% chance of salmon dropping with roe, which can be eaten raw. Okay. Advanced food items now take citronol. Okay, 30 water, 10 food, 5 stamina, 20 food, 20 water, long grass, prime meat. That's good. So cooked is a lot better than your raw, which is obvious. So if you want, okay, so 30 stamina, 10 food. So that's what you want to carry around with you if you're sprinting around a lot. Oh wow, okay, so there's a lot of information on these. I will put links to all this in the description below, so you can have a look at this in more detail. More dinos damage stone. Hiding behind stone walls only provides limited protection. Allosaurus, Anki, Bronto, Carno, Calico, Diplo, Diabear, Dodic, Giga, Mammoth, Megalosaurus, Racer, Rex, Spino, Stego, Theri, Titanosaur, Trike, Rhino and Newty, all damage stone structures, so you want to try and get to mesh. Sorry, I looked at the next sentence. You want to try and get to metal as quick as possible. Many items now have static meshes including berries, crops, meats, narcotic stimulants. No more leather boxes of meat and berries, okay. Feathers. Birds now drop feathers instead of hide. So taking that from Prim Plus. Feathered dinos now drop quill leather instead of hide. In addition to feathers, quill leather can be used in place of hide for any recipe. Venom. Some venomous and poisonous animals now drop venom, which can be used to craft narcotics now in place of raw meat. Oh wow, okay, that's pretty cool. Penguins would prefer a non-violent route. You may farm penguins and allow them to spoil into organic eggs. Sorry, to go into organic polymer. Turtles, Dodic and Anki. If you can farm shell fragments are now harvested from turtles, Dodics and Ankis. Alpha version of dinos adjusted. All alpha versions of the dinos standard speed of their species and do not team up with carnivores outside of their species class. No more alpha raptors being followed and helped by carnos. Thank God for that. So this is a current list of what's tameable right now as of today recording. So there's no Rexes on there yet. There's no Gigas on there yet, it looks like. So that was updated 1st of June. Haven't seen a more updated one, but that's what's available at the minute. Obviously, the more they go down the route, the more they're going to add. So that I'll leave a link to this so you can look it up yourself. So server configuration options. If you think it's a little bit too ridiculous of a survival for you and you want a slight increase in your stats, you can do so here. The mod developer has added all these in here, which you can add and change in the settings yourself. I think some of this may need to be tweaked for your own personal playstyle, but A lot of it is probably going to stay absolute. That's at Olympia. Okay. Okay, we'll look at that another day. But I don't know what map to start on with this yet. I really have no idea. It looks an absolutely amazing take on Ark, and I absolutely love it. So what you got? Raptor Eggs, Kentro. There's a baby Diplo wandering around the world, and there's its parents. So you'd have to come up and tempt it away. What else have we got? Let's see what else we can show. Scorpions. I think they're Raptor Eggs. They look like Raptor Eggs to me. Just make sure you're quick. So, what's that? So you see you've got eggs here. Patchy Rhino. Some eggs attached to branches in the water. See, there's all these nice little extra details here. And this is what I mean by the facial is upgraded a little bit so it doesn't look like Shrek's armpit. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you found it somewhat informative. You can find this on Steam, but I will put all the links to the description below. I'll even put a link to their Discord so you can go on there and ask any questions. Just bear in mind, it is still in development, so there's a lot to change. There's a lot to add, some balancing to do, but for me, it looks ideal. The whole survival aspect of it, of you are no longer the master race on that island. You are predominantly quite low on the food chain, which is how Ark's supposed to be, in my opinion. But hope you've enjoyed it, guys. If you have, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me to stick around for some more of this, and I will see you in the next one, guys. You take it easy.